Okay, so as I promised in an earlier video, but I haven't really had time to do it, I'm going to go through and kind of explain to you, if you're not familiar with combine or farming, you don't know how this whole operation works, I will briefly explain it. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because there's some good videos out there that do that. John Deere has a really good video that is kind of animated and shows you the inner workings of a combine. But anyway, this entire unit right here on the front of the combine is known collectively as the header. This is the reel. The reel's job is when the sickle cuts the soybeans or wheat, whatever, off. The reel, which is missing a lot of tines right now, these are tines, pushes the material up here into the auger, which feeds it to the middle, and the teeth on the auger kick it into what is called the feeder house right here. This feeder house has paddles in it. I'm not sure. That's a strong magnet. You can kind of see a paddle right there. But anyway, it's got paddles that basically paddle the bean stems, everything, up the feeder house. Then at the top you have a feed accelerator right here, and what that does is it speeds everything up so that it's moving at a proportionate speed to the cylinder. Back in there you can see, I hope you can see, the back of the cylinder. You can just kind of see a little bit of the back of the concaves. When the straw and all of the stems, we'll call them, come out of the cylinder, they are thrown on top of the straw walkers. Straw walkers are what I'm right here on top of right now, and they move up and down and back and forth like this, almost like bicycle pedals, and it walks the straw out the back of the machine and dumps it off onto the straw chopper, which is spinning at a very high RPM, and it chops everything and spreads it behind the machine. For the grain and the pods, what's left of the pods, it does not come up the straw walkers. It's not supposed to, if you got your machine set correctly. There's a good picture of the cylinder. You can see the concaves up there. You can't really, you can see a little bit of a rasp bar. I can, because I know what I'm looking at. But the beans then come off onto this shaker pan, which is right here with the dividers on it, and it shakes the pods loose from the beans, which then come back here onto the sieve. And the sieve is where the beans are separated from all of the chaff right here. This gets blown out the back by a big fan, and the beans fall through here, down through the sieve. If there's anything that doesn't get cracked and it comes through the machine and it's still a whole pod, it's supposed to get caught right here, and it falls down, goes through a re-thresher. It will come out here with this. There's an auger in here that would auger it out. The elevator carries it up, dumps it into the re-thresher. This is just a smaller version of the cylinder that's up front. This gives you a good idea what the cylinder looks like. This is just a much smaller version. The one up front's like 48 inches wide, and this will re-thresh any pods that make it through the machine without getting threshed the first time. All of the beans that get shook loose from the pods and fall through the cylinder come out of this auger and go up this elevator into the grain tank up top, which you've seen before. There's a lot of moving parts to make this all work, and sometimes they all work together perfectly and sometimes they don't, but that's the gist of how a combine works. If you're wondering, I know I've probably used some terminology that hadn't made sense to some of you, but yeah, that's the way this type of combine works. There's a different style of combine called axial flow, and they work a little differently, but we won't get into all that. But anyway, I'm gonna set up a time lapse and get this combine greased, oiled, blew out, and this might be the end. If it is, then I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.